region. Victoria, I'm the registrar and the chief executive officer of the Librarians Registration Council of Nigeria. So I'm from Nigeria.
What exactly?
The Librarians Registration Council of Nigeria is a regulatory agency that regulates the practice of librarianship in Nigeria. We have four key mandates to register librarians in Nigeria, to determine who is a librarian, to determine the knowledge and skills of people seeking to become librarians, which implies accrediting library schools. We also maintain discipline within the library and information profession. So we have a code of conduct and professional. As chair of Africa section, I was invited to the conference to talk about some of the initiatives that the Africa section is developing on the continent. One of the initiatives, which is the one I spoke about this morning, is a proposal to establish an African Library and Information Association and institutions, which will be the umbrella body for all librarians in Africa to practice the profession and develop the library and information service profession on the continent. We see that having an umbrella body will be very beneficial in the sense that it enables us to speak with one voice about the library and information science issues, especially those that pertain to Africa. But it also helps people from outside the profession and indeed from outside Africa to recognize that one voice which they must listen to on library and information services provision on the continent. And so we can go to organizations like the African Union, like UNECA. We can have a consultative status with them and really speak about African issues, LIS issues, and that one voice will be recognized as the voice that actually says what is going on the continent. As it is now, we have regional voices, so a lot of people sometimes, because of institutional recognition or maybe national associations or regional associations, they speak on LIS issues on the continent, and that is good. But in addition, over and above that, we think it is good to have one voice, which is a branded institution that everybody recognizes, that if you must have a continent-wide opinion, this is the one person that you should speak.
Tell me about what is
IFLA is International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. It is the umbrella body for all librarians globally, and it is the one voice that speaks for librarians globally. And so in international events, when we're dealing with partners, whether local, national, international, IFLA is that recognized voice, the profession of choice for librarians that enables us to speak together as one voice. So that is essentially IFLA. And IFLA has a lot of activities on the continent. It has helped Africa in many ways to develop the library and information services profession. For instance, IFLA developed what they call the Building Strong Library Association programs, because it is really about helping national associations to grow and to develop and to leverage on activities on the global scene to ensure that in Africa we get the best that we can for the sector. The Building Strong Library Association programs is really a program to help national associations get stronger and develop. And on the continent, two national library associations have benefited, the Botswana Library Association and the Cameroonian Library Association. And for instance, the Cameroonian Library Association was practically dead, I would say. But with this program, we have been able to revive that association. They have leveraged on the IFLA program to actually get the attention of government. And in both countries, government now has direct intervention, giving money to the national library associations to actually develop the library sector. So these are some of the kinds of things that IFLA does. Another activity, because I came here for a lot of things to this conference. Another reason that I came, the Africa section, through the African Library Summit that we held in South Africa last year, May. As an outcome of that summit, it was agreed that the public library sector in Africa is weak and that we need to find ways and means to intervene to help them develop and become as strong and as effective as public libraries in the rest of the world. We fortunately had support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who are passionate about public libraries development all over the world, including Africa. And so the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is supporting this particular intervention, and they have agreed to sponsor a summit of public librarians in Africa. And we will bring in public librarians or managers of public libraries from the 54 countries of Africa, as well as policy makers, because we feel that it's important to showcase what good practices we have in Africa in terms of, and in the rest of the world in terms of public library development, but also what can be done and what can be achieved if public libraries have support, especially from policymakers. So they're sponsoring, I think, about 200 participants to attend this conference in South Africa, and then we can decide how we can take it forward. For instance, we're thinking of maybe a network of public libraries in Africa that can actually, advocate the issues in public libraries and how to turn them around to make them more efficient and effective on the continent.
Having attended the conference, what do you think about the things? Better, or is anything bad?
I must say I have been very impressed with the SCECSAL conference. This is my first time of attending SCECSAL. And I think you're taking the leadership role in terms of, regional conferences. And I think that is something we should be proud of. That is something we must all congratulate you for. The conference has been really wonderful. it has given me opportunities to network with colleagues, to have all of these meetings that I talked about. So to really talk about development of library and information services sector on the continent. The conference has also helped me to improve myself as an individual, especially, I attended some sessions, talking about the social media and all of that, and these are things that are new, but these are things that we must do on the continent if we want the LIS profession to remain relevant for society. So for people like us who are gradually rolling out to get into retirement, it's important that we understand key issues like social media, and because we many times speak on behalf of the continent, so we need to be able to say to ourselves, we need to understand these issues, we need to talk to ourselves about these issues, we need to develop and integrate these issues into the work that we do. So for personal development, it's been excellent. For networking, collaboration, partnership with important stakeholders, both the donors, the local colleagues, people from the region, it's been incredibly beneficial, because we have these contacts for the rest of our lives. I've had opportunities now to discuss, for instance, with some of your exhibitors, and negotiated how they can support us for future conferences. So all of these are benefits that we draw from this conference, whether it's personal, whether it's African-wide, whether it's for my institution. I have derived a lot of benefits. Excellent conference.
Just before I let you go, I'd love to maybe to get your opinion on, just before maybe IFLA came in, and the issue of libraries in Africa coming together and helping themselves to. How has it been like? Is it making it better, or there's so much good?
No, I said in my presentation this morning that the Bible says, one shall put 1,000 to flight, two shall put 10,000. It really says that when we work together, we can do much more. When we work together, we can learn from each other. When we work together, we can support each other. When we work together, we can leverage on whatever benefits there are to bring down the cost of buying materials, which is, forming consortia. We can learn best practice from different parts of the region. We can talk about our challenges. Even if we don't solve them, at least it reassures us that perhaps other people have the same or similar challenges, and we learn how perhaps they are overcoming these challenges. So I think, yes, there is a lot more work to be done in terms of developing libraries on the continent, but nothing is ever perfect. Society is dynamic. We must learn to adapt to the dynamism in society, and so we must understand very clearly at the back of our minds that there is always room to grow, there is room to do things better, there is room to do things in a different way, and it is that ability to adapt, to understand that I think it's important. Yes, we have issues with libraries on the continent, but it is getting better. And when we take steps such as this, we've taken that additional one step that brings us together, that helps, provides a platform for us to discuss, that helps us to improve on where we are. And so I'm a very optimistic person. I think libraries on the continent are doing well and will do better in the future as we adapt to the dynamism